Someone's thinking about the last time that they saw you, and I'm hearing I knew it would be the last time. So there was nothing accidental about that day. There was nothing accidental about the ways in which this person might have been acting strange. They might have been very standoffish with you, or they could have been kind of showing displays of affection or a level of honesty which was uncharacteristic for them. And then they ghosted you. Then they cut you off. They walked out of your life, or they switched up very substantially as far as their energy is concerned. And there's a sense that in the days or the weeks or the months leading up to that last interaction with this person, they had felt that they were at a crossroads. There was a choice that needed to be made. Fears, outside obstacles, the intensity of what they were feeling for you, all of these things were thresholds that they needed to cross, hoops that they needed to jump through. And this is somebody that doubted their ability to be everything that you needed them to be on the other side of the process of going through those challenges or changes. This is somebody that almost might have thought, you're better off without me. If I stay in your life, if I let you in any closer, I'm going to drag both of us down with me. This is somebody that in their mind, they felt that they were almost saving you from themselves. But with this energy of you don't know how hard it was to let you go, this is somebody that has regretted that decision every single day. This is somebody that has thought about that a lot. They have thought about and continue to think about, and therefore empower, it feels like, a parallel timeline that they are almost unconsciously feeding energy into through the power of their thoughts. And you might be picking up on in terms of feeling very energetically connected to this person still. Even though it's been silence, it's been no contact, you might have made efforts to break away from them energetically, move forward in other ways in your life. Yet there's a part of you that can perceive this empowered parallel timeline that no matter what this person has shown you or has said, and it feels like for most of you there's been nothing that they've shown or said that indicates remorse, a change of heart, a desire to course correct. They've kept that all in very silently. But you've not been out of sight, out of mind. They spend a lot of their emotional energy, a lot of their mental energy thinking about what it might have been like, what life could be like for the two of you in the here and now, what the world itself as they are experiencing it in this moment, how it could be changed, how it could be more beautiful. Because for whatever the ups and downs are that they have faced since you've parted ways or that they're going through currently, there's a sense of like, I feel that it would be easier to face these things with you by my side. Or I could have avoided a lot of pain and heartbreak. I didn't need to put you through certain things. If I had chosen that path of trust, if I had chosen that path of love, if I had not put us both on a timeline of fear. So this is something where it feels like you're picking up on that subtly. You may be feeling this person's energy. You're tapping into their higher self. There's a part of you that's in the here and now, which it feels like for a lot of you, there's almost like if they're watching from afar or they've looked you up or have kept tabs on you, it's a sense of almost like you've changed into someone else. I know it could never be the same between the two of us, but this is also somebody that is feeding into that energy of like, who might you have become if I had fought to stay in your life, if I hadn't pushed you away, if I hadn't succumbed to fear? What is the reality that we could be living in right now? How might I have gotten through certain things that were very difficult to deal with on my own, but that you would have had that strength to reveal to me so I could find it within myself. You would have had the wisdom to help me make better choices, or you would have been somebody who would have stuck by my side through thick and thin, and it would have made certain things that I've had to go through easier or completely unavoidable. Yeah, and we also have the timing just wasn't right for us. So this is somebody that feels like they might have messed it up totally for the two of you in the here and now. And depending on the nature of kind of like what happened in the past, goals and dreams that they know that you've had, a life that you wanted to build or create that is not possible for the two of you to do. Maybe it's been too much time, it's too much hurt, it's too much betrayal, or things like if you'd wanted to like get married or start a family with this person, you might be beyond the point of like having kids. You might have tried to start a life with someone else, successfully or not successfully. This person could have gone off and gotten into other connections, successfully or unsuccessfully. But there's a sense of almost like, I don't know what I could bring to your table at this particular point in time other than just dredging up the past and painful memories. And yet the past won't let this person go. They are very haunted by their actions. They're haunted by their words. They're haunted by the reality that came crashing down, almost like an iron door that now separates the two of you, that they felt the experience of very quickly when they pushed you away, when they self-sabotaged, when they ran in the opposite direction and shut you out, whatever that's looked like, and how they've contributed to the accumulation of that through time by having this kind of sense of like, I made the wrong choice, and yet not doing something sooner or at all to change that. It's almost like they've agreed to this timeline that they are living in right now, and you are living your life as this version of you that is disconnected from them. And yet still, after all this time, they are feeding their energy into these kind of fantasies, this sort of secret world inside of them where they got things right. They answered the question correctly. They solved the riddle. They made a different choice as far as the two of you were concerned. And in that parallel timeline, in that internal world, in that internal reality, there's a sense of almost like things are bright. There's not wounds that needed to be healed from. That challenges that have been faced were easier to learn to live with or to overcome, or might have been avoided altogether, because they see that you are somebody who brought the potential of something very positive into their life. And in the past, their vision was clouded by fear, or that voice of fear was very loud within them. It was the hardest choice, and yet it was the easier choice to move in the opposite direction, to sabotage this connection, and to allow time to kind of cement that into a place of reality for the two of you, where there's no jackhammering that away, and the expectation that in the midst of that rubble there would be something salvageable that could make up for lost time. This is somebody that's kind of like, it's sealed. There's no way to get back to that energy. Yeah, we could rebuild from this point, but they are very haunted by the fact that like things were in alignment, things were perfect for what might have been a challenging situation, but almost like the adventure of a lifetime that they feel that they passed up on. This is somebody that feels like very guilty for ways in which they've almost kind of sabotaged a future for the two of you, a future for themselves, anything that they've put you through or that you had to go through that was almost like, if I would have been there by your side, these things wouldn't have happened. Or if they had happened, we could have figured it out together. And instead you were left to kind of just like suffer through those things alone. The guilt and the shame of that is eating this person up. But they almost feel that it's kind of like, to approach you at this particular point in time, it would just open up old wounds. And yet they can't pull their attention away. So as much as you may feel kind of like the tugging of this person's energy through this kind of like current version of them, empowering a parallel timeline, and it's that parallel version of them, of like the two of you in lights that you're able to pick up on. you're reading into. That this is something which it feels like they're fixated upon it. They're like obsessed with that in a way. They can't escape these kind of reoccurring thoughts, or again, that energy of kind of just like fantasizing and exploring all that territory of what if. So as much as you might be like, why can't I just let this connection go? Why can't I get this person out of my energy? Why can't I move on and be happy? I don't want to cling to this past. I've tried everything to free myself from it. Like, this person's in the same boat because they are so haunted by the fact that some higher part of them almost recognizes this could be like a soulmate connection, like a higher level soulmate, that it's sort of like the two of you had a very long journey through time in order to reach this place, like in the here and now, where there were only two choices, the path of love or the path of fear. And this person very consciously chose the path of fear. This is something where this person, it feels like, has avoided you. They've deliberately stayed away because it's like, I can't look you in the eye and with a straight face act like I didn't know what I was doing at the time. Like, this person knows that they chose the low road. And the high road was that road of following their heart. And instead they chose almost just like blending in, or a level of passivity that has created some sort of ripple that still holds on to them, where they've made some sort of proclamation to the universe, almost like love isn't worth fighting for. And so you've slipped through their hands, or you slipped through their clutches. So it feels like they were clutching on to this for a very long time. What could have become between the two of you would have been like a very profound love story, a very deep love story. And this doesn't mean that the two of you can't have deep and profound love with other partners. Maybe you've already experienced that, or you're nearing that place of getting that opportunity of aligning with somebody who, isn't going to kind of duck out in the face of challenges. Someone who isn't going to equate those challenges as part of the formula of what it means to have an emotional experience with you. Somebody who isn't going to make you feel like you're hard to love, or any difficulties in the material world, that these things are insurmountable, that it's not worth it. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth investing for a duration of time. Like, this person recognizes that their excuses were kind of flimsy. Like, it was just fear. It was fear of being judged, fear of being hurt, fear of the unknown. Something that wasn't just like, oops, I leaned into my woundedness and now I live in this wounded reality. But it's almost, again, like somebody knew very much, like, this is the last time I will see you. This is the last time I will talk to you. Things will never be the same between the two of us. They made that vow as opposed to the vow of, I love you and I will do what it takes in order to see this love story through to a beautiful place with one another. And so you need to know that you have not been replaced. This person, even if they're in other connections, or they've had other connections, or they've tried to love other people, it's like nothing registers as deeply with them as what they experienced with you before they ran in the opposite direction or pushed you away or shut you out. This person is just as perplexed as you are, kind of like, why can't I let this go? I made this choice very consciously to shut you out, to disconnect from you, to not choose you. Why do I keep circling back around to this? So it's like the two of you are entangled with one another, energetically speaking, because it took so long to come to that point in time where it's like all they needed to do was just say yes. All they needed to do was continue to allow their heart to lead them forward. And it's not like they flinched or hesitated for a minute and the door was shut. This is something where it was almost like they thought about this and was kind of like, okay, I'm not going to do this. Not even I can't do this, but just I'm not going to. I choose not to. I choose to not fulfill what some had might have even perceived as like a soul contract. They could have sensed that this was like a deep or transcendent level experience with you. It was like, I don't want that. I want something simple. I want something easy. I don't want a life like that. And so they pushed love away. And there's a sense of it has remained very slippery and elusive for them ever since. Because there's a part of them that still is almost like stuck in that moment, stuck at that crucial juncture in time where their conscious self knew this is it. This is when I cut you off. This is when I push you out of my life. This is the last time I will see you. This is the last time I will speak to you. This is the last time you will ever hear from me. And they're in a lot of regret about that because it was the wrong choice, and it's proven to be the wrong choice for them. Yeah, we also have, I wish I could take back my words. So for a lot of you, you know, they kind of like projected onto you almost in an effort to kind of like chase you away from them. They didn't just kind of slip out the back door quietly. They did everything they could to make sure that for themselves almost there would be no easy way back towards you. Not like they were setting themselves up for a challenge and like, I'll prove myself, I'll come in and save the day. But this is almost something where it's kind of like a part of them knew without really having, it feels like at the time, like a conscious awareness of just how profound like the soul connection was between the two of you. There was some part of them that is like, if you're going to shut this door, you have to demolish it. You have to destroy that portal so that, you know, never say never. There's always the ability to kind of turn things around, but that is like the slim to none chance of something that they as an individual would be able to accomplish, or based on the nature, again, this could be like a long-term separation or just the nature of what they did to collapse this connection, that it would be like trust would be very hard to earn if it were ever given fully again. That for this person to come back around with like their tail between their legs, it would be something where like their ego wouldn't allow them to let you have the upper hand. Like they would have to go through some kind of profound like ego dissolution, an elevation of their total self in order to be able to like do the right thing here. It's like this person did the most to make sure that there was like an inflicting of heartbreak so profound in you that it was like in a hopes of you'll just forget about me and you'll go somewhere else. They didn't anticipate that you would be still kind of like holding on to this in some way. They didn't anticipate themselves that they wouldn't be able to outrun these feelings. So it feels like this person is kind of like, they feel very trapped within this because they can't turn back the hands of time, but they also can't fully detach from this. So as much as you are like, why can't I just get this person out of my energy? Why can't I fully detach? Why can't I fully let go? Logically, emotionally, psychologically, actually, spiritually, energetically, I get it. It's not happening for us. And so I want my happily ever after in the here and now with someone who does choose me. And yet here's this other energy. Here's this other person that is still part of the picture in the higher realms, still coming through in the dream space. I'm still feeling their energy around me. I'm still getting the signs and synchronicities. I can't shed this. And they're in that same kind of energy, but it feels like more, it's almost like a pursuit on their part. Because it's almost like their higher self, or even like the universe, like won't let them forget. Kind of like, even if they have happiness in the here and now, even if things are really good, there's a sense of like, in this lifetime, this was an invitation to kind of like a very profound experience in love and partnership that doesn't come around twice. It's something that may have taken a millennia, eons, centuries to get all the details right. We're like, yeah, it wasn't just going to be an easy straight path forward, but that working together, fighting to build a connection, keeping your hearts open, going through that process together, it would have been so worth it in the end, in terms of the level of a bond that could have been actively established between the two of you. And there's some part of them that recognizes like, this will always be a question of what if. Even if this person were to kind of turn things around and come back towards you, it's like it would never be what it could have been. And that's something which it feels like is, especially at this point in time, that's really kind of messing with them. That's something that now it's been enough time, or there's been enough efforts on their part, on your part, to like detach from this, to honestly like move on with other people. And yet there's still this soul connection where it's like they're opening their eyes to that. And I'm hearing, what have I done? So there is a sense about some kind of awareness within this person that it's kind of like they need to kind of just make space within kind of their psyche, within their like internal world, within their private reality of like, yeah, this memory, this flashback, this big question of what if, this is going to be with them for the rest of their days. And in some way, it's going to be with you as well. And beyond this lifetime, maybe in several more millennia or eons or centuries, there'll be another chance. Or maybe this was it. Maybe this was the last resort. This was the last time. To tie back into that energy, this person's like, I knew it was the last time I would see you. I knew it was the last time I'd talk to you because I made sure of that. I did everything in my power very consciously to ensure that that is how this cookie crumbled. And I've done everything in my power to keep reinforcing that until now it has reached a place where even though there's this kind of increasing desire, this of like, well, is it too late? Can this be turned around? Like it could never be what it could be before. It still could be something else. But this is an even like whatever the challenge was before, it's like an even bigger challenge. This is something where it might have just been like a mountain they needed to climb. This is now a whole mountain range. This is something that is kind of like it's way out of their league. It's deep into that territory of like it doesn't sit right with them at a soul level. Like they can't successfully sort of like move beyond this or bury that guilt inside of themselves. It eats at them. That energy of not just like I did wrong by somebody else emotionally, I inflicted emotional hurt on another person, but I've done wrong to myself in some sort of way. And the ins and outs of that are not known to them fully. It's not meant to be known to them or to you while embodied in this human experience. But if you've been like wondering, am I the only person that still feels this, that still feels very frustrated by this, that is having like a hard time letting this experience or this energy or this person go? The answer is no. Like this person, not just their higher self, but like their internal self, their secret self, they still think about this. They still think about you often. They think about that day. They think about that night. They think about that conversation. They think about that encounter. They think about that experience, whatever that looks like for you. And there's a sense that they may even be kind of like radiating towards you. That energy of regret, which for some, this is like the only apology you're ever going to get for this person. And that might be just what you have to work with in order to try and move forward, in order to allow yourself to open to experiencing love with other people. For others, this is something that can indicate like this person is, attempting to kind of pick things up within themselves. Some people will attempt to do the right thing in this. Most people, it feels like, will not. Because unfortunately, that's just kind of human nature. It's easier to just hold that internal sense of guilt and shame and to have those tough conversations and to apologize genuinely and to admit people are wrong or that they made a mistake. Like that's the hardest thing ever, to be like, I was wrong. I made a mistake. I made a bad call. And so for, again, a lot of people, this is going to be something where you're just going to have that kind of form of recompense inside of yourself, knowing that like you're not just unable to detach from this. You're not the one that is like pulling on this person energetically. You're not the one that's stuck in the past. That this person, wherever they are in the world, whatever it is that they're doing in their life at this particular point in time, whoever they are with, now or in the future, There is a very conscious part of themselves that is weighed down, that is trapped within that moment in time. And because it involves you, your energy, who you used to be, that past version of you, there's a part of you that's able to perceive that as some kind of, maybe like a consolation prize, which it feels like even the idea of that would be bittersweet for whatever you've had to do to try to like heal your heart, to make sense of everything that happened, to move forward in your life in other ways. The fact that this person holds a lot of regret over that, maybe that will mean something. It'll provide some additional layer of closure, or an ability to kind of create a cushion between yourself and the phenomenon of that energetic connection, so you can allow yourself to be in the present and to invite in a love that will choose you and will keep choosing you when it's easy and when it's difficult, most especially when times are hard. And for some of you, this is somebody that, they'll pull it off. They'll come back around. They'll go through some kind of personal transformation. They'll pursue a second chance. Now, whether you reject them if they show their face to you, or it's the beginning of like, yeah, it won't be like it was, but we can still have something. That'll be up to you at the moment in time when that happens. And it feels like that won't be for everyone, because the easier path is just to continue to feed into like, well, now it's been too long. Whatever I said or did, it might be too little too late to turn that around. I don't know how I undo that hurt. I don't know how to even explain my motives or what I was thinking, because it was very conscious on this person's part. They didn't just recoil out of an instinct. It's like they deliberately pulled the rug out from under you, or stepped away, or slammed the door in your face. They created a tower moment between the two of you, and they've not been able to kind of extract themselves from the wreckage of that. So you're not just imagining that energetic connection. If these energies apply to you, this person is very kind of, again, like consciously feeding in, not just like thinking back onto that experience, that kind of like last time they saw you or last time they spoke to you, but they are also actively feeding their energies into this kind of like dreamscape inside of themselves of what life would be like for them. That what if at this particular moment in time, if they'd made a different choice, if you were together at this point, if you were still together, if instead of going left, they'd gone right, if instead of pushing you away, they'd pulled you closer. They think about that a lot. They feel that a lot. There's a lot of longing for that, for this kind of other timeline, this parallel timeline, this parallel universe that they don't exist in reality. You don't exist there either, because you're both in the here and now. And so for some, it's kind of like it'll always just be that kind of looking out the window at the landscape of what if as time passes by. And for others, this will be enough for this person to kind of like, I got to try to turn this around. Whether you hear them out or you're like, thanks, but too little too late. Again, that's up to you if and when that happens. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.